Hey, 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 welcome back to the Virgo channel. I feel like I haven't been on in so long, and really, I think I was on a few days ago, but I'm used to being on every day. My son was out for a visit. I just had a birthday pass. No, I'm right on the cusp, the 21st of September. I can't believe how fast this year is gone. I really can't. Time is just flying. So I'm very happy to be back. I want to thank all my subscribers, my new as well as my old. Thank you for all my likes, shares, and subscribes. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Laura, and I like to do shadow readings. So I look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks of shadows, see how they play out as karmic themes along with everything else. This will allow you to see why you attract who and what you attract and what you need to do to integrate the spiritual lesson, but you'll also understand why your person's doing what they're doing. Because when you're dealing with a person that wears masks because they have shadows, they create personas, illusions. And so a lot of times we know that they're creating a facade. We know it because we know what we feel. We just don't know why. And so a lot of times we take it as if the person is rejecting us or that the person is being malicious towards us when really a lot of times it's not even that. It's that the person has their own spiritual issues. Spiritual issues are psychological and emotional. When we're talking about shadows, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about spiritual blocks, and they're psychological and emotional. They're held in the body as stress, as energy. And this is actually what determines your energy vibration. And you're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. So when you say, well, I'm not that, well, there's only two energies, love and fear. So unfortunately, a person that has a lot of psychological and emotional imbalances can attract someone that just is a little imbalanced because there's no such thing as a little or a lot. So keep that in mind. And keep in mind, there's also many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on your core beliefs, and your core beliefs are what are going to determine your actions and your behaviorisms, and those are what creates your karma. So again, understanding how spiritual law works and being able to decipher and discern why your person's doing what they do, a lot of times you're able to avoid negative karmic retribution. You might not be able to get your person to step into their divine being, but you will be able to avoid negative karmic retribution. Or if you have gone through karmic negative retribution, you'll understand why that happened so that you don't repeat it. All right. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you have to be open to getting a shadow reading. You have to be patient. I'm a few weeks behind. You also have to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out, and it's the underlining energy that tells me why everyone's doing what they're doing. All right. Let's see what that word is. And by the way, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box. So if ever you forget the word of the video, it'll always be in there. Also, guys, you guys, the people that are in my coaching program, they love the coaching program. Sign up for the wait list. Sign up for my wait list because I have a huge announcement to make. If you're someone that's here because you have trauma and you want to heal the effects of it, you want to definitely sign up for my wait list. And you'll find that link also in the description box, along with my beautiful, by the way, otter spirit bracelets, which these are the grief bracelets that I got from Otter Spirit. They're beautiful. I've actually forgot to wear them. They're I lost my husband 2 months ago, as those of you that watch my channel know. You guys have helped me tremendously through this process because, again, my focus is on you guys, and I've gotten great response. People that again want to learn about healing. So it keeps me grounded. But Otter Spirit, I love this company because it's not just, crystals represent psychological and emotional aspects of ourself. They represent, the medicine that we need for ourselves is what I'm trying to get at. But they also donate $1 to every bracelet. And the thing is, they don't really sell one bracelet at a time. You buy these packs of bracelets of 3, and they all work together in synergy for whatever you need, whether that's abundance, whether that's specific healing, but they also heal the environment. It's called Otter Spirit because they actually helped save the otters in California. They were becoming extinct, and because of their efforts to raise money to help them, it's actually they're no longer on the verge of being extinct. And that's a big deal to me. The world is changing so much. And, um, we don't want to lose our nature. We don't want to lose that part of the world. Already our rainforest is being affected, and people, they don't really want to hear about the ozone level layer and those type of things. But the truth of the matter is that this is the world that we leave our children, our grandchildren. We want to try and leave it in a better place than how we found it at this point, because we've really grown out of balance, and that's all that I'm going to say about it. So I love companies that give back, and Otter Spirit does. So again, if you're interested in crystal bracelets because you need a certain type of medicine, well, you want to check out their website, check it out. The prices are good, not to mention you get 20% off when you use the coupon, and you find that coupon again in the description box. I needed to make those 2 announcements. I always forget because I always want to jump right on in. So my apologies. There's so much to tell you guys. I haven't been on in so long, I feel like. Where it's like, I think it was only a few days, but nevertheless. Okay, the word of the video is perfectionism. Perfectionism. The thing is with perfectionism, we only feel that we need to be perfect when we feel that we're defective, when we feel that we're flawed, when we feel that we don't have enough or good enough. There is no such thing as perfect. When we're comfortable in who we are, what happens is we don't feel the need to be perfect. We understand that we all have our own unique unfoldment process, and that happens through letting your spirit guide you to the things that you're interested in, to allowing yourself to just go out and explore. And that's why they say be like childlike, because children go out into the world and they don't have expectation of how things need to look. They might have an idea of what they want to do or what they're looking for, but very rarely does it go according to plan, right? Like they might be on the lookout for a cardboard box that they can make into a treehouse, but along the way, they don't find that box. Along the way, they found maybe again something else like a broken bicycle, and they decided to create something else. My point is that we find ourselves through just having a love affair with ourselves, being like children per se, like being comfortable in who we are so that we can go out into the world and connect. And I feel like you're connected to somebody that feels so inadequate, and they've listened to the wrong people for a long time. I feel like they grew up in an environment that either was extremely strict with religious values, or again, it was very conservative, and it was the people were very concerned about what things looked like to other people instead of creating themselves. So stability, this person that you're connected to created stability through buying things, through acquiring things, through creating a persona. So this person is not good with relationships. They have a very hard time connecting to people on an intimate level. It doesn't mean that they can't be surface and charming and fun. And what it means is, it's again, that's the mask. I'm comfortable. I act like I don't care about anything, but this person feels inadequate. I feel like they don't come to you because they don't really know how to approach you. And so the underlying energy is perfectionism. And unfortunately, that is always derived from fear. Because again, there's no such thing as perfectionism. And when a person is coming always, when fear is what's driving a person to do things, their actions and their behaviorisms are going to be in alignment with that type of energy, where I believe that this person has had many times, many opportunities to come back and fix this with you. And they overthink it. They overthink it. They, again, if they care about what it looks like, they have a big ego, they have pride. So again, everything needs to look a certain way. And if they have to come back and apologize to you, well, again, that kind of breaks the illusion, right? It ruins the illusion. And I believe that this person has lived by, again, creating an illusion and living by that illusion. And so that means that they don't ever let anyone get in that close. Apologizing is actually a form of intimacy, right? Vulnerability. If I say I'm sorry, I have to show you vulnerability. And if I'm showing you vulnerability, well, again, it's going to create intimacy. And that's the second chakra imbalance. And the second chakra imbalance is, again, the person doesn't feel comfortable in who they are. They feel inadequate. They won't go with the flow of life. They want to control. It also means that they suppress their emotions, their avoidance style, which can cause a fear. But unfortunately, this person, I feel like they still have a lot of feelings for you, and they're in a place of grief because they say that they avoided you because they didn't want to hear the criticism. But it always leads back to them feeling powerless. Powerless, because it's, again, their mind, they're creating unnecessary walls. Like it needs to look a certain way for them to come back and apologize. No, they need to surrender their ego. They don't want to do that because, again, if they have to actually let you in, then the illusions of what they created are just illusions. So you can see that this is the energy that they're in. So I don't really feel like this person's doing that much. However, I do feel like they're tortured, but because they aren't doing anything. So they're sitting in the facade of what it looks like instead of connecting to you when really they want to connect to you, because they wouldn't be thinking about everything. It wouldn't have stirred up all these feelings. But whenever we see perfectionism, that's always it's usually like 9 times out of 10 rooted in shame. So a person unconsciously creates a lot of facades so that they're, again, are not seen in that negative energy of shame, but more perfect. So what happens is that they give too much to the other people that are around them. Again, they care too much about the people. And so I don't even believe that these are this person's beliefs at this point. I believe it's almost like they live on autopilot. And because, again, they give too much to other people and then they're neglecting what they need. But it's very easy to neglect what we need when we don't really know who we are and when we are not really able to emotionally fulfill ourselves up by ourselves, right? If we can't make ourselves happy, because happiness is an inside job, and we're looking to gain that happiness through outside resources as a way of acceptance, of a way to feel loved, as a way to feel connected. Well, what happens is we become where we abandon ourselves. We do give too much to other people. And that's really the fear that this person has. They have a fear of abandoning themselves, not like not having a life, where I feel like they have commitment issues. Well, they have commitment issues because, again, they give, when they get into a relationship, they don't have balance with it. It's either all or nothing. And really, their mindset actually is what makes that so. Again, where I feel like this person has attachments, and those attachments are where they don't really, they're connected to them through their childhood trauma of where they gave too much, where they were conditioned to give too much. But understand, it's that kept them in a place of shame, and now I feel like they're in a karmic connection with someone that keeps them stuck in shame. So what it is that they don't have enough of their own identity, and they don't really know, even though that you have a spiritual connection to this person. I feel that they don't know how to break free from this attachment because they don't really know how to think for themselves. They're not strong emotionally. And that's because they've been beat down. That's what attachment is. Attachment is, I beat you down and then I reward you. And then I beat you down and then I reward you. It's very narcissistic. It's a narcissistic behavior that they form an attachment, and it's an emotional attachment. But that can only happen if a person's emotionally not intelligent and they don't know who they are and they have wounds. And that's what we see here. So it's, again, the dynamic of what they're living in. This a lot of times is also confused for soulmate, like, oh, the twin flame. It's not, it's a trauma bond. And it's a trauma bond relationship, which is why your person doesn't really let anyone in. They strategize. And so also what this says here, look, don't commit too soon. Separate needs versus wants. Give some room to breathe. And that's really what that karmic does to your person. They don't let them breathe, because in the breath you have time to think, and this person doesn't want them to think. And so, but understand, it would also mean that in order for this person to feel comfortable in a relationship with you, you would actually have to form an attachment, is what I'm also feeling. So I don't feel like this person had a good self-esteem. So because they don't have a good self-esteem, they didn't really know how to act. They're not emotionally intelligent. So they would expect you to do more. They can't read you. You're not on their vibration. Even though you might have wounds that need to still be integrated. And that's why this person's in your life, right? Weary. And so again, that this person, like I said, made you tired. And it made you tired but really it's because they are weary. And they're weary where they need to take some time for self-care. And instead, again, how does a person control? They control through beating them down emotionally and psychologically. And that it's very draining. It's like whatever go through a very emotional experience. Well, to the point, like it's like where you're high strung, you can't think after a while. You just want to surrender. Well, I feel like that's where the karmic is at. They're almost like they keep trying to like really push it and push it and push it. And I feel like it's made your person tired. It's like where they're not giving in anymore, it's that they're existing. And with you, I feel like you got tired of waiting for someone that never showed up. And it wasn't showing up because they're committed to someone else, and they're committed to somebody else not because they want to, is what it looks like to me. It's more or less they get gaslighted, that they get tricked, that they get. Now it doesn't mean that you need to run into a relationship with this person, but it's understand that this person, if you're thinking is a player because they want to get over, they don't want to do that. It's more or less that they're not strong enough to get out of that connection. But it will almost come up if, like, as someone's doing witchcraft. No one's doing witchcraft. What it is that your person is around somebody that's so obsessive. It's a 24/7 that they put their energy into controlling your person so that they don't have an identity. They keep them busy. They keep them, again, stuck up in their head. They keep beating them down. They're like making them feel guilty, making them feel that they need to be a certain way, act a certain way. They guilt them. They shame them. They make them feel like shit, which is why your person wants to create the facade that they're perfect. They're hiding behind this perfect life because they're, again, flawed, but they don't want to be in that situation. They're tired, they're drained. They want time for themselves, for their own self-care. And what it is like that karmic isn't allowing them to. And I feel like it's because your person emotionally isn't giving them. And they know that they have feelings for somebody else, and this is making the karmic like a green monster, that green little monster. It's making them so jealous, so angry, so because your person's not doing anything. They're on, first of all, they're in survival mode. Is what I'm feeling. They're like doing so much in hopes to calm the karmic down. But the karmic doesn't really want them to do all that. They want love. They want affection. They want emotion. And meanwhile, it's like, I feel like, again, they don't know how to. So again, your person, when you were again in the relationship with this person, you can saw the illusions. You saw. And this person, like, again, is also living under the illusion themselves. So this is what you felt. You're not letting me in, but you see why. Their life is so flawed. They don't have control over their life. And then they also are beaten down 24/7 by this karmic. They didn't want to be, like, again, like, blamed by you about, they're not giving you enough time. They know that they're not giving you anything. They know that they don't have control over their life. They're not going to share that with you. That's a flaw. But the attachment that once was, where I feel like the karmic got their way for so long, all their little tricks aren't working anymore, and it's creating so much turbulence. It's creating so that your person's in survival mode because they're like, I don't know what this person's going to do. They're acting very like sporadic, like they're all over the place. Like one second they could be nice, and then the next second screaming at them, having a fit, and then the next second threatening. They're all over the place because the karmic is so emotionally distraught because they feel your person really doesn't want to be in a connection with them anymore. And it's not because they even can help it. I feel like it's more like, I just don't want this. I don't want to be controlled. I'm not attracted to you anymore. And that's what happens. The intimacy is what gets affected. And it gets affected because if you're not allowed to have your own life, the karmic is breathing on top of them. So it's making you seem so much like more attractive, I feel like. So, but now they're in a place of that they don't know what to do because they stayed away from you. They played it wrong. And I feel like they're so used to the karmic, where the karmic is always going to control and manipulate, and where you know that the karmic's in love because they're up their ass 24/7, 7 days a week. And this is again the attachment. It's more of a need than, like than a, I don't even want to say a want. It's more of a, but even though it's a want, our relationships are, it's like, I choose you. So I guess it would be a want. No, this karmic is like, no, you're the blood that runs through my veins. And this is what your person's like, I don't want that. Like, and at one time, your person was probably broken, codependent, like that. And now again, as they evolved, the karmic didn't evolve, and now they just don't want it anymore. So again, and you had enough. You had enough of them not knowing whether they were coming, whether they're going. And that's again, as long as they continue to live with that karmic, the karmic will continue to confuse and gaslight and would make you feel like, again, that you would just be getting breadcrumbs, where, of course, this person would be blamed because they're not setting the appropriate boundaries. The karmic didn't really allow them to, but it's a choice. I feel like your person didn't know how to get out of that, but unfortunately, it took you being like, enough. I don't want this," because that person is still in your life. You care more about hurting this person than you do about hurting me. And that where I feel like I can see your point, but I also can see that, like, this person's afraid. Like they're afraid, and they were afraid because it brings them back to the original trauma to get in this situation. They wouldn't have gotten into this situation unless they were wounded. So again, brings them back to the original trauma, which we'll see what created that, but it also brings them into the situation of, it's almost comfortable for me to stay where I am because this person, I don't know what they're going to do. And almost feel like I'm responsible. And where with you, you're going to expect them to step it up. And so, like I said, this person is getting in their own way. They're overly thinking. And so, but it's just good time to like say you had enough. But again, you're feeling like the secrets. That's why you had enough. You're like keeping this person like a secret because you don't know what to do with them. You don't have feelings for them. It's more like they dominate your life. And in them dominating your life, it doesn't leave room for anyone else. And you're okay with that because, hey, well, you don't want to disrupt this person. So this is why this person, like, I feel like is in a place where they're they're not in a good place. They're in a place of fear because they don't want to be connected to that karmic, but they're also seeing that they've, kind of ruined this connection at this point. We're going to go just a little bit deeper. My heart is opening to love and guiding me back to you. So it's, again, even though you may not be seeing anything, this person, I'm getting the feeling almost like your person is waiting. Like they may not do anything, but in them not doing anything, that karmic is losing their mind, and they feel like that karmic is eventually going to walk away, is the one that's going to be the one that ends the connection. They want that karmic to end that connection. And it's because they don't know what else to do. Words have hurt me in the past, and that's why I fear talking to you. They didn't tell you everything because, again, that first of all, they have a fear of communication, especially with this situation. They didn't really know how to tell you. And this also makes them have to go deep within inside of themselves. But I also feel like being around the karmic, this person has never been able to tell the truth. The karmic knows damn well that they don't want to be with them. We always know when somebody doesn't really want to be with us, when we're forcing. And so that's why the karmic is angry, because they're like, usually it just snaps right back in. How come it's not working now? And it's because it's reached the end of the line. And with that, it's like they, would I feel like they have tried to tell the karmic, and the karmic has ripped their head off and made them feel like bad and guilted them and shamed them and used their words against them. So they weren't going to take the chance with you. So that's the issue. They didn't communicate with you, but they didn't communicate with you because of all the wounding that they have, which is why they're again connected to somebody that's has that crazy energy. The karmic has crazy energy. They like, if I can't have you, no one will, and you're my life, and this is my life. It's almost like I'll die without you. Where it's like your person's not giving them anything, and it's making them so angry and so furious. And it's because they're like, I want you to end it. It hasn't worked for a long time, but I need you to end it. I can't do it because they don't want to look like the bad guy. Again, they care a lot about what other people think. That comes from the way that they were brought up. And so again, separate or together, we are working in tandem with each other. This person feels you. Again, there's a spiritual connection that's deep. When we go deeper, they're like, I know I can feel you. I know what I should do. I know what I have to do. I thought by now that this person would have caved. The karmic it's they just think that the karmic is going to cave and it's going to be over. No, it's going to create fireworks. The karmic has got to walk away. It's not going to be done easier. It's actually going to be done harder because they drew it out. And that this is how your person sabotages themselves, because they sat there wanting the karmic to do it because they didn't want to hurt the karmic, because they were afraid of the karmic. The karmic's taking their sweet ass time. They know exactly what it is. They're getting more mad, more mad, more mad, building up so much anger, becoming more and more and more jealous, more and more angry. There's so much fire. And here it is, you're like not with them, but you have a spiritual connection to them. They know you're pissed. They know you're like, don't want to have nothing to do with them, because it's like, the whole time you're like caught up with this shit. But it's, again, this person is terrified. You're looking at it like, oh, they're choosing. They're like, and they think that you're normal and that, well, you'll understand. This person, look what I'm dealing with. It's almost, you are in your old patterns but can't see it. So again, they're in their old patterns and of living in survival. And who knows, this situation might have triggered you too, where you're like, I don't care what this person's situation was. They didn't choose me. They weren't here for me. They kept their at any cost. They're just going to hide this person and think that it's okay. And so that everyone gets their needs taken care of. Only I don't get my needs taken care of. So again, you're not thinking about me. So it goes back to you being like, you're not thinking about me. You're asking me to sacrifice for you because you don't know how to deal with your situation. So again, where your pattern would be to get triggered by it, to take it personally, where that's this person's, um, defective way. And it's defective because they're coming from a place of fear. They feel like they can't do anything. They feel as if they're hopeless. They feel as if they don't have a choice. They feel, powerless was the word that I was looking for. And so, but they're not. And so our union energy needs clearing. Repeat this 11 times with slow, deep breaths. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I'm grateful for you. So I feel like this is bringing up a lot where your person is insecure. You're not viewing it as insecure. You took it like this person tried to get over on you. I feel like this person was living a lie. And so they're going to break free from this situation. However, it's like it will require you to forgive this person. And I feel like there's a part of you that's like, you don't really want to forgive this person. And because it brought up wounding. Again, where were you for me? Why are you asking me to overlook for somebody else? Why are you putting someone else ahead of me? Where the spirit's saying that's not exactly what happened. What happened is that this person didn't want you to know what was going on because they were embarrassed, because they know that their life is a sham. And in that, that karmic took full advantage, and they're not confident in themselves. So they don't know how to listen to themselves. Again, they wouldn't be not knowing how to get out of a situation and being connected to someone that they're afraid of if they didn't have wounding. And what Spirit's saying is like, yes, and you're attached to them because you need to learn about forgiveness and about being grateful for the person, that the person's not perfect, that everybody's flawed. And so a lot of times we'll get this because we've had other people in our life just not show up for us. And so that significant people that were supposed to be significant. And so it's really teaching you something. But the spiritual lesson here for both of you, I believe, is like, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Because this person really should have apologized. Instead, they avoided you because they were embarrassed. They cared more about their appearance and how things look than about being transparent with you. So I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. I'm grateful for you. I want to be with you. And you too, to be like, I'm sorry too, to not realize about your pain, about your insecurity, about that wounding that was there long before I came into your life. And that you're actually the reason why this person is actually getting out of their situation, because they're coming back to you, even though, they know pretty much that you're not going to be happy, because again, they already know that it's going to require you to forgive them if you're going to let them back into their life. And they don't know that. Expand your concept of what a twin flame is. It's more than romance, it's deep soul activation to heal in order to embody love and light. So again, this is your twin flame. This person wouldn't be leaving a crazy ass situation like this attachment that's, again, where your person's terrified to leave, where they've been brainwashed over and over and over, gaslit, manipulated to the point that they're finally awakening to the fact, hey, I've been manipulated and I don't really feel safe in this situation, but I got to play it in a way that the karmic does it, because I don't know if I do it, what might happen, what the consequences are. So I'm just not going to do anything. I'm going to hold back. So the karmic's sitting there like, love me, do something for me, make me feel better. Yeah, and your person's like, I'm not going to do nothing because I know what you'll do. You'll eventually give up on me, but not realizing that they're making you wait, feeling like, wow, this is taking a really long time. But they were trying to do it in a way. And so that would require you to be patient. It would, like, again, to let this person be vulnerable, to have their process. And even though it is kind of like unfair to you, like, are you evolved enough? And the spirit saying, because this is a twin flame relationship, it's drawing out shit that's inside of you. Again, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I'm grateful for you. Maybe again, you didn't have a parent that said, hey, I love you and I'm grateful for you. Instead, they shamed you. Perfectionism, again, that's how this started off. So like goes to like, and when you're a twin flame, guess what? They're the other half to you, not really, but again, supposedly, because everywhere where you have a gift, they have a wound, and vice versa. So you kind of make up a whole when you come in together, but you think differently, you act differently. It's almost like opposites attract, but you have the main common wound, and that main wound is shamed, is feeling like inadequate, and feeling inadequate because of having family that wanted you to be perfect. Again, people make mistakes, or it was seen because I wasn't perfect, I was shamed, which is why your person has a hard time coming back and saying, I'm sorry. The words have hurt me in the past. It's like I say them, and then people just use them against me. And Spirit's saying, well, why don't you try something different? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I am grateful for you. It's like healing. It's a twin flame journey is that it's going to draw out the wounds, make us look at them, but the passion and the love that allows. So there's a part of you that Spirit is saying is like, well, you're going to, it's going to require forgiveness because this person didn't think about you. But did they have a good enough reason? Can you use discernment, or are you so black and white because of what has happened to you in the past? Will you jeopardize the connection, or will you surrender to it? If you surrender, you find equilibrium, spiritual equilibrium. You wanting to control the situation, you will stay in balance. This will require forgiveness. And this will also require your person to ask for forgiveness, to apologize and say, hey, I'm grateful for you. I do want you in my life. To show vulnerability, to show that they care. And without forming an attachment too soon. And that's really, we see that you can do that. This person has to learn what a relationship is without that, and that's not going to be that comfortable for them. This is why the twin flame journey makes us hold to a certain standard. And that's one where we're stepping into our divine self. But it doesn't mean that we start off there. What we see here is, again, two wounded people that, you know, wounded for different reasons, but then also for a little bit of the same reasons, having the same, you know, needing to do the same thing, which is surrender. When we're saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, that's what we're doing. We're saying, I'm grateful for you. I'm showing vulnerability. And again, things that are not done when you grow up in childhood trauma. So let's see what this person's going to do soon. We said they're going to come back. Oh, look at this. The answer is yes. Again, they love you. It's again, are they coming back? Yes. Is it, did they really, your twin flame? Yes. It's again, this was all about, believe it or not, self-examination, exploring the unconscious mind, which is all about the twin flame journey, bringing out those traumas, those subconscious traumas that have been suppressed and repressed, because after a while, when we have suppressed something, it becomes repressed, which is, I don't even know that I'm suppressing it anymore. I forgot about it. Well, that energy is still there. The thought pattern's still there. Everything's still there. And that is what is dictating your energy vibration. So, like I said, I feel like that this person was on a lower vibration than you when it came to emotional intelligence. But they're your twin flame, and understand twin flames always do bring something to the table. You know, I mean, everybody learns, that's what it is. I'm just going to pull 3 cards here to see again. Yeah, like it's almost like this relationship for you guys is gonna bring you both into like uncharted waters, like being with somebody that's so different, that's triggering, but there's a lot of passion. It's, you don't know where it's gonna go, but it says it's one that's going to require confidence, and you need to again state your, it's all about stepping into your divine self, and that can't do that unless we're going into uncharted waters. Like, I don't, never did this before, and you wouldn't have, because you weren't raised that way, and the relationships were not that way before, where there's so much unconditional love but you're also getting triggered and you're learning how to deal with those triggers. Hearts are aligned. Align your actions with your heart's true desires. So again, it's all about following the passion, and that's what this person is doing. So for this person, it is about aligning what they say with what they do. And I feel like that's what they're going to do. Because there is unconditional love there. And then beyond illusion. And so what really is that spirit saying, like, it's really important for you both to discern the truth that fear like obscures and like it blocks you from seeing like the true reality. So a lot of times if you get triggered, that those triggers are, it's supposed to happen. That's why a twin flame union is a difficult one, because it's drawing out all your pain. And it's again, every experience that makes you look defective, not good enough, abandoned, any part of yourself that you've rejected, any part. This is, again, it's going to recall a lot of painful experiences. We get our twin flame because we're ready to finally transmute those inner childhood wounds. That's why I'm saying to you that this is beyond the illusion. Like, what needs to be looked at and focused on is really the unconditional love that you and this person have for each other. That it's way beyond whatever like you're seeing. It's a spiritual connection, and that if you can keep your focus on unconditional love, you will find balance. If you're not, then what'll happen is you'll get triggered. You'll get triggered a lot. And what your person needs to keep focused on is that their heart, that their actions are in alignment with what they say, because in the past, that's not what it was. And that's because of, again, the karmic. And I also believe that because this person has been around someone that they haven't really wanted to be around, they've learned to lie a lot as a way to, it's almost like just a reaction when you're around someone that beats you down, emotionally manipulates you, makes you feel like shit. Well, it's like this person is not vulnerable anymore. And that's why, again, they have a hard time being vulnerable with you. They won't be vulnerable with you because of that. So it's to understand that they have to step into their true self now in order to for the connection to work. Now we say, why did you attract this person into your life? When we go deeper, cleansing, card number 1. So obviously cleansing is when we clear, when we heal ourselves, when we hold on to suppressed energy that turned into repressed energy. It means that we are no longer aware of, as I said earlier. So when you're clearing, you have to fully integrate the spiritual lesson, and understanding what the lesson was here was all about forgiveness. That's cleansing for you. I feel like it wasn't done for you, and I feel like you and this person are capable of doing it because you're both sensitive, like highly sensitive. And I say that because wounded children become sensitive. So that's actually a healing trait. It's a vulnerability, not allowed to be vulnerable. What did I say? This person for sure, that's why you're having a major problem with them being vulnerable, but you too. I can't be vulnerable. I can't show that I ever make a mistake because I need to be perfect. Otherwise, there's consequences, because everyone cares about what it looks like instead of really what it is. I need to create the illusion, the facade. Hope. So even though, I feel like it was rough times, you always held on to hope. And I feel like children do. That's the beauty when things happen at a young age too. it's like there's a part of the child that will still hold on to hope, still believe that good things can happen. And it inner authority becoming very strong within yourself. So, but the thing is, I look at this kid as like a little rebellious, right? We see like it looked tough and so strong. And so we're spirit saying that inner authority, where a person's like this, it's like it also makes them not be able to be vulnerable, where spirit's saying is to have good discernment because you always had it. And but it's also to incorporate the vulnerability to allow people to not be perfect, because what'll happen is you'll shut out people that are good but make mistakes, that people that they're not perfect, and they'll it brought up wounds within inside of you. You have to utilize your own discernment, and I feel like you have that. Again, your inner authority is someone that you didn't really listen, even though that environment was put onto you, again, one that was similar to this person's, that you didn't listen. You didn't, that's the difference between you and your person. You were like, no, I won't be controlled, and no, I won't wind up in a connection like that. I'll leave. I'll do what it takes to leave. Where your person like never figured out how to get out of it. They repeated the same thing in childhood, where spirit's saying, and you keep repeating the same thing in childhood too. You're just not, it comes out where you're like, well, I see it, so I'm not going to date that person. I'm not going to go into that. So I'm just going to stay by myself. And so spirit says, so you still need the clearing, because if you're attracting the same thing, even though you're not living it, well, it's because there's something that you need to learn that you're not looking at. And once you learn and integrate it, that's when you become clear. And once you become clear, then nothing's distorting your perception. The past isn't distorting your perception. You're able to let other people be vulnerable. You're able to be vulnerable. And what's vulnerability is intimacy. It's trust at its basic level. So again, the person wasn't, I can't trust. You were also conditioned, I can't trust. And because you did this, I really can't trust you. You won't show up for me. Where spirit says, not really. It's again, they didn't show up for you this time, but again, that's not really what it was supposed to do. This person like not showing up for you is, it's more or less spirit saying it's a karmic theme where no one shows up for you, and that you don't really need anyone to show up for you. The perception that you want someone to show up for you. And so understand that happens not a lot of times when it's with the people that we want to always show up for us. So we may always want our boyfriend or our husband or a girlfriend or the woman of our dreams to always be the one to show up and come through, but that's never how it works. And spirit saying, because I'm trying to teach you, you don't really need that. You're strong enough on your own. And when people don't show up for you, that's always when you tend to step into your rebellious energy. Now we see like here, it's like this little girl, like she's sad that she has to be that way, but she's angry, she's hurt. And so, right? So what this anger and this hurt made you change. It made you put the energy into yourself, pushed you back into, that imagination realm again. And if you can imagine it, you can create it. And that's what I felt. I felt like it pushed you into creating yourself more. It's like, because it doesn't feel good to stay angry. And like you said, I feel like you got angry. You were hurt. This person didn't show up. So it's not that you were being rebellious really by taking your energy away, but this person again needed your energy. They like the attachment. So again, this person would have never learned if you would have been like that attachment, which is what they're used to. They're used to someone coming to their rescue. And so last time that happened, here they are today in this karmic cycle with this person that they don't really want to be with. So hoping that you're gonna help them get out. That's not what happened. You again took your energy and you put it to yourself. And if you can imagine it, you can create it. Like I said, I feel like it pushed you into having more ideas and where you wanted to put your time and working on yourself because this person made you feel unworthy. And that's the inner child wound. It's like I felt unworthy, so I couldn't really be vulnerable. I only could listen to myself. So again, you have good intuition. So yes, I always had a hope because I always listened to myself and I always had good outcomes. And that's, but I had to be rebellious. And so Spirit's saying, but you created a whole new life, a whole new way, and about which is what needed to happen, because that's also how you cleanse yourself. You cleanse yourself by seeing yourself differently, by seeing, that you didn't really need this person to be there, that you can let them be vulnerable, that it's about letting people be vulnerable, and it's about you also allowing yourselves to be vulnerable but also strong. And that's what you pretty much displayed here. It's like while healing your own wound of unworthiness, because if the person that you wanted to give you the emotional support wasn't there, then it would make you feel unworthy. You would like, I'm not good enough. Why are you overlooking me? Why is that person more important than me? And so again, bringing out that where really Spirit's saying, no, it's about you, like not needing this person to show you that. It's for you to really embody that. Because once you embodied that, now this person's able to really see the difference between like who they're surrounded by, this karmic, and you. And this, it makes them desire you more because you're not giving them that energy. Is making them change. It's like, and this change is not an easy change, but it also them not showing up for you was not easy for you because it brought up so much of that pain. But it again, it forced you to change, and that's really how you transmute that negative energy. The passion and love that the twin flame have for each other, it can never be broken, it can never be manipulated. So there is a sense of being angry and things weren't, but Spirit's saying, I'm teaching you both how to surrender. We find spiritual equilibrium, which is balance, when we surrender to what is. Now, it should have been this way, you should have did it that way, it shouldn't have been, where Spirit says, just get back to unconditional love. And anything that is driven from unconditional love, which is forgiveness, it's vulnerability, it's compassion, all things that you and your person need to learn clearly, because this whole relationship has been nothing but triggers, because this person's been hiding behind the facade, you're getting triggered, and then both parties don't know how to handle the situation. You're getting angry, this person's avoiding. So Spirit's saying it doesn't matter. No matter what you do, there's still an emotional bond. Surrender and learn from it, because this person's coming back. So if it's real twin, you'll have a really hard time saying that you don't want to be with this person. You will have a very hard time walking away from this person, when really you didn't need to walk away. Spirit saying, no, you need to change the way you're dealing with the person, and they needed to learn how to deal with you different, but the love is there. That's the whole point. It's that the twin flame union, there is unconditional love. It makes us step into our divine union, our divine being rather, so that we can be with our divine counterpart, because it's making us change. But we wouldn't volunteer that change. So we ask Spirit, how are we going to leave this off? And Spirit says elevation. The relationship twin flame journey is all about elevation, evolving into the highest state of consciousness, unconditional love. I free myself from fear and trust the universe. The universe is God, it's unconditional love. Spirit's saying, you have to trust in me. That you are me, you are unconditional love. However, you have shadows, and this person has shadows. So again, you're not going to have any control over the twin flame union because of those intense chemistry. This person feels like your other half. So you have to trust the universe. Direct your thoughts to the beauty that's inside yourself and around you, and use your spiritual strength and knowledge to create light and rise above doubt. And doubt is fear of, again, problems, like looking for problems. Don't look for problems. Become yourself. It's like, and don't focus so much on this person. And I say that because there's unconditional love there. However, how they express unconditional love is different. And that it takes them time to get comfortable, allow their unfoldment process. Where Spirit's saying, when we elevate ourselves, we don't lose ourselves in the relationship, where what this person does. That you create yourself, and you again have a relationship at the same time. That you're not dependent on this person to give you your emotional needs. That you're going to do that yourself, Virgo. That this person will, again, show you their love language eventually, but it's going to require patience. It's going to require you to integrate the higher levels of consciousness, vulnerability, forgiveness, patience, all those higher consciousness that represent unconditional love. And Spirit saying, and this person is going to draw it out of you, whether you want to or not, because your higher self is ready, and so is this person's. That's why they're coming back to you. I'm going to leave that there, Virgo. Look at that thumb. See, at the right time. That's a sign from the universe. They're coming back. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.